everyone, I'm Chase Lee, and reporting for DallasMovieScreens.com, I have another movie to review for you guys. That would be Mojave, starring Oscar Isaac and Garrett Hedlund, and it's written and directed by William Monahan, and this is the guy responsible for writing such films as Kingdom of Heaven, Body of Lies, Edge of Darkness, The Gambler, and The Departed. So, what did I think of this movie? So, I saw this as an online screener, and you know, usually when I see online screeners, it kind of worries me because it's like, oh, it wasn't enough to get out to theaters, so you gotta get people online. And usually they're about half and half. Most of them are good, and then most are bad. So it's kind of like half and half. But Mojave, I don't really want to say much. Basically, Garrett Hedlund plays this artist, if you will, and he goes out to the desert, and he runs into Oscar Isaac. That's all I'm gonna say. It's one of those movies where it's like, it's kind of interesting to kind of watch it and see the story unfold. So what did I think of this movie? Let's get real and break this down. So the writing and the directing. Now the writing is okay, and the story is okay. There are a lot of decent monologues from Oscar Isaac throughout this movie and stuff that are very intriguing on life and stuff. But then some of them seem a little too long, a little too self-indulgent, I guess, and it just didn't really gel with me. Like, some scenes went on way too long of Oscar Isaac delivering these intense monologues, but some of them did work for his type of character, but the writing was okay and the story was okay. Directing-wise, I mean, it's not a badly directed film. I mean, the performances were great and stuff, and you know, it's a story that's average. When you reach the end of the conclusion of this movie, you just kind of look at yourself going, oh, okay, so the story was about that. Took an hour and a half to basically just say it. So it's one of those movies where it's like, you could see on TNT like at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday. That's probably when you would catch it. And this is being distributed by DirecTV, so it's definitely on DirecTV. So you don't have to leave your house to go see this movie. But overall, the direction was okay. It's like an average thriller, like I said, you would see during the week on TNT or something. So it's nothing like special at all. It's just, as far as the negatives with the directing and the writing, it's well, I already said the writing part, but like with the directing is that there's so many plot points and plot holes that just don't get resolved, and they're just kind of there, and you don't really know too well what the main character's motives are and like all that stuff. And it's just everything is kind of jumbled up a little bit, and it's kind of there's just a lot going on to where it doesn't feel cohesive at times. It just kind of feels like it's just jumping from this to that to this to that, and it's not really doing it, if you will. But I guess if you want to look at the wide scope of things, like I said, it's like an average thriller, because when the end of the movie happens, you can kind of piece together everything, but it's still kind of hard to follow because it just doesn't really know what it wants to be most of the time. It's just going from scene to scene. And, I don't know. There's just a lot of stuff that are left up in the air and unresolved, and I don't really like that too much. So acting-wise, this is actually one of the positives. Oscar Isaac is very creepy, and I do like his performance quite well. And I've never been a huge fan of Garrett Hedlund, but he's actually pretty good. He plays a terrible person, which might be one of the reasons why you can't really get into this movie, because you're following him as the main character, and he's a terrible person. Can't really get behind his actions and what he's doing. But yeah, no, the performances were really good. And Walton Goggins is in this, and there's a surprise supporting role in this. I didn't know he was going to be in it, and he just pops in, and I was like, I like that. His part was ridiculous, but yeah, surprising supporting role. But the acting was fine. I actually really liked the performances. Oscar Isaac and Garrett Hedlund really kind of just made their own and did what they could with the script and stuff. So I give them props. Cinematography-wise, it's actually shot pretty well too. There were a lot of cool night shots. Because a little bit into Oscar Isaac's character, without spoiling anything, is that he is kind of stalking Garrett Hedlund's character, and you know, there's some really cool night scenes where it's lit very well with really cool shadows and stuff. It's almost like a horror movie. And then when they're shot out in the desert and stuff, you got some nice wide mountain shots and a lot of landscape shots that look really kind of gorgeous and stuff. So the cinematography is really good. There's really nothing wrong with that. Editing wise, this is kind of going along with the story and how jumbled it can be, and kind of incoherent. I'm not gonna lie, it kind of took me a while to get into it. Like, I think once Oscar Isaac came on screen, I was a little bit more interested. But then when he left, and I was a little less interested. And it kind of took a while to like get going for me. And this movie's only an hour and a half, so they have to set up a lot, and they have to deliver it in a short amount of time. But just for me personally, it just took a while to start. But once I kind of got the hang of it, I was okay. But once the end came, I was like, okay, so the story was about that for an hour and a half. To me, guys, like I said, it's just this average thriller that you really are not going to be upset if you miss this. Trust me, I love Oscar Isaac as much as the next guy. But this is one of those Oscar Isaac movies you can skip. Not going to lie. Watch like Ex Machina or Star Wars, or Inside Llewyn Davis or something else. This is just one of those movies you're going to forget. And there might be some people that might look deeper into this movie and see its significant meanings. Good for you. God bless. But for me personally, I couldn't see any inner workings or inner meanings to this story. I saw it as one thing, and I got everything towards the end. But it took a while for me to get what was kind of clicking for me in terms of the story. And at that point when it ended, I was like, okay, that was it type of deal. So for me personally, guys, average thriller, catch it on cable, I guess. I'm going to give it a C. Straight up down the middle. Nothing really too terrible about it, even though I have my problems with it, with the incoherent story and just some of the plot points that just don't make sense or just are unresolved, never touched upon again, and the unclear motives of the main character, and just kind of an average, basic story in terms of thriller. Like I said, it's really hard to discuss it because I don't want to spoil anything just in case if someone does want to watch it. So I'm gonna give Mojave a C. Average thriller, guys. It's definitely not the worst thing I saw this year so far. Right along too. So that will do it for this review, guys. I'm Chase Lee reporting for DallasMovieScreenings.com, and tune in next time for whatever I review next. I'll see you guys later. Mojave. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Let's play the outro music. Oscar Isaac is a creepy guy. Don't ever pick him up in the desert because he will probably do stuff to you. So I'll see you guys later.